There it is. Good morning. As always, we're going to give it a little bit of time and let people join us here. If you're not in the Branson area and you're wondering what the weather's like, everything's white outside still. Very snowy. Good morning, Austin. Morning, Robert.
Good morning, Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Hi. Thanks for joining us this morning. Good morning. Sunny Florida. That sounds nice.
We do have the sun out here in Branson. It's just, it's still a little chilly.
It's really cold right now. What's the temperature out there, did you say?
I'm not sure what the temperature is right now, but I know that it's warming up.
So it's 32 degrees in Branson right now. And we're looking at Monday, it's going to be 64, Tuesday a high of 67. So I'm hoping
forward to that.
It melts all the snow and we can play some pickleball outside. It'll be great.
All right, we're about at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. As always, I've got some quick updates for everybody, and then we'll just open it up to questions. So first off, our capital improvement donations. And again, you can check on this on the website, so tlresort.com. It's on the main page. Scroll down until you see the thermometer, and it'll have the amount and also an option to donate as well. But we're at $27,829. We're seeing a lot of donations come in with those annual dues, so we really appreciate that. Speaking of annual dues, they have went out. If you've not received them by now, please contact me or Stacy at the front desk and let us know. We'll check your address and make sure we've got the proper address for you, because you should have received those by now. Next big update, Spring Break Bash, March 17th through 23rd. We're really excited about this. It's going to be kind of the kickoff to the season, so start making your plans to come on down. We've got some exciting things. So first off, Gold Wing Express is going to be our live entertainment, and they are backed by popular demand. So they've been here in the past, and a lot of owners said, hey, can you bring them back? So we were able to book them for this event, so super exciting there. Poker tournament on Thursday. We're going to have bingo, a pool party on Tuesday, and we'll have a full list of all the events and what days and times they're going to be taking place early next week. So be on the lookout for that. We will post that on Facebook and on our events website and on our events on the app as well. So be looking for that. Volunteer Day, April 12th. We've talked about that a lot. We're going to have a whole list of things. That doesn't matter your skill level, or whether you're a 30-year veteran carpenter, or if you're somebody that just wants to come in and help and maybe has limited mobility, we can find something for you to do. So we'll have more information on that as that date draws closer, but if you want to plan for that date. Next up, our 2025 budget was approved by the board. So a quick rundown of that, and I've gotten some questions. Hey, is that going to be posted soon? It absolutely will. I'm looking at early next week to get that posted as well on the website. It's going to look a little different than budgets in the past. So in the past, it was about 3 pages long. This budget's going to be much larger, and it's going to kind of come in phases. And what I mean by that is you'll be able to take a look at the organizational budget, which is all the team's budget in one. But you'll notice, for instance, it'll say propane. Well, in the past, we've seen propane pool, propane this team, propane that team, all on that same organizational line. That won't be the case anymore. You'll see propane on the organizational budget, but if you scroll down in the budget, you'll actually be able to see the budget by team. So maintenance will have a budget, and everything in there is related to maintenance. Owner services will have its own budget. Admin will have its own budget. So on the front end, it looks like it's not as detailed, but it allows us to take a look at the kind of the big picture as an owner, and then dive real deep into any team you would like to get really clear, concise information. So it's going to be more detailed in the past, but if you're just looking at that org page, if you just look at that and go, I can't tell where the money's actually going, it's because you're not looking a little bit deeper. So look deeper. We're really excited about this budget. It is a by class, by subclass budget by month. And in the past, we did an annual budget and just amortized that budget throughout the year. We didn't do that this year. We got a little more specific on the timing, so you'll actually see that net kind of raise and fall based on activity here at the park. So you'll have higher income months and lower income months. So if you're looking at that bottom line and you're going, oh, it looks really scary in this month, just remember that cash flow from the beginning of the year carries us through those times. If you do have any specific questions about the budget or want to know more information about it, you can always reach out. There are, obviously, we're running on accrual basis and not cash. If you're looking at a cash basis, we're receiving quite a bit of income this time of year due to annual dues. And that is amortized throughout the year. It's on accrual basis. So you'll see, that's kind of same chunk every single month. But cash-wise, that statement of cash flow in the financial packet will show you where we actually sit cash-wise. So all good there. So total revenue in the budget is $3.8 million. Cost of goods sold is $251,000. We're looking at $3.4 million in expenses, $319,000 in other income, and $162,000 in other expenses. So our budgeted net revenue for the year is $291,000. So that's really our goal, is that net income amount. Okay, next up we've got current open positions. So last week and the week before last, people asked about the food and beverage manager. It has been open for a while now. We've received about 40 applicants and are beginning that process of interviewing. So our interview process for manager position looks like, an initial interview, typically over the phone, just to kind of get to know the person, their skill set. The next one is more of a deep dive technical, and any manager position also interviews with the board as well. So the board gets involved in those interviews, to meet and ask any questions that they have for that person. And then from there, we make a selection. So we also have other openings. Front desk, housekeeping, maintenance, activities, food and beverage, and we've also posted our director of operations position. So it was about 8 months ago or so, we kind of restructured the organization, and I've talked about this in other Meet the Manager meetings, but when I first started, we had every manager reporting directly to the general manager, and they were all individual departments. And you've probably heard me use the word team and department, and there is a difference with Treasure Lake now based on those terms. So a department, we've got 3 departments. We've got the admin department, operations, and programs and marketing. So Amy is head of that programs and marketing department. Under that, we have activities team, food and beverage team. Under the ops side, we have owner services team, we have maintenance team, we have housekeeping team, and we've got the admin department. And under that department, we have sales and deeds team.
He votes for me. I don't know. Vote for me.
So it's divided up in a clearer structure that allows kind of easier communication, and just to be completely transparent with you, having 15 direct reports that are manager level, I didn't feel like that was a good structure for future growth for our organization. So that was the reason for that restructure. So we are rehiring for that director of operations position. It's posted on Indeed, so if you know anybody that's a good fit, please share that link with them, let them know, and have them reach out. So, all right. New owner feedback process. So we've talked about this a lot, but I want to reiterate, it's going live on March 4th. So when you come to stay at Treasure Lake, in the past, you could get on the website and do a complaint form.
There was a contact us form.
Yeah, but you had to select like complaint or something else. Yeah. Anyway, it was just like a free text box.
Yeah.
And the issue with a free text box is we really can't easily compare data. So we can't say like, where's our benchmark, where are we currently at, what's our goal, and how are we progressing toward it with owner satisfaction and guest satisfaction. So we want to know your feedback so we can do a better job in the areas that we're maybe not meeting expectation. So when I started looking at this, for a guest or an owner that's staying in a cabin, they got a feedback form paper that they would fill out, which was great. It provided us with a lot of good data. The problem is then I have to convert that to a digital format to be able to compare and run charts. And we've shared that with our team. My first quarter here, I took all those feedback forms, we put it in a big spreadsheet, and then I shared with the teams, hey, here is consistently people are saying, for instance, security is very friendly. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of feedback that we got. And then here are some areas that can be worked on. Maintenance was quick to respond. I mean, almost everything that was listed was, hey, we had this issue, but maintenance was quick to respond. Well, that tells us we have an issue in ensuring that stuff isn't a problem to begin with, but at least we're responding quickly. So that data was great, but we were only collecting it for individuals that stayed at one of our cabins. So we really spent some time thinking about what that process looks like. On the other side of things, we've got our Maintain X program, which I've talked a lot about that. That's our new maintenance program that allows anybody to submit a maintenance request. It can then be divvied up to an individual in maintenance that can then go out there and fix that problem. It allows us to really track what's been done, what needs to be done, which in the past, things got done, but we had it all on paper. So again, going back and kind of reviewing, hey, how are we doing? Are we meeting expectation? What things have went to the back burner and have been on the back burner for a long time? There wasn't an easy way to parse that data out. It was just kind of in one person's head or in two people's head. So the Maintain X system allows that to happen. So then we thought, okay, how do we ensure that owners have a way to both provide feedback on the park in general, and then also submit a maintenance request if one is needed, because we want that to be accessible to everyone. So what we came up with was a link on our website and a QR code. Now, for those of you that are going, I hate QR codes, that's totally okay. You don't have to use the QR code. We don't want that to be a barrier for you to provide your feedback, but we do want to make it really easy for those that want to use QR codes to provide that feedback. So that QR code takes you to a page on our website, and it's the same page. If you go to our website, once this goes live, you'll click a link and it'll bring you to what's called a landing page, and it's going to explain, hey, here there's two forms here to fill out. One of them is a maintenance request, and here's how you use it, and here's a feedback form. You can click on one, fill out your maintenance request if you have one, or you can click on that feedback link as well and provide any feedback. That QR code and that link on the website take you to the same place, okay? So if you want to provide feedback, you'll either scan the QR code or click on that link on the website. It'll take you right to that landing page. If you have a maintenance request, you click maintenance request. If you want to provide feedback, hit the feedback. I wanted to be able to provide feedback. I wanted people to be able to provide basic feedback and then also detailed feedback if they wanted to. I'm certainly somebody that most of the time, if I stay somewhere or enjoy an amenity somewhere, filling out a 5-page survey is not something that I typically want to do, unless I have, a specific experience that I want to communicate. So what we've done is when you click that link, the first question is just going to be, hey, rate your experience, provide some feedback, and then you can submit it, right? If you want to provide detailed feedback, you can hit, provide more feedback, and it's going to open up the full form for you. So you can actually rate every single team. You can talk about positive things that happen. If you see something that needs to be worked on, you can let us know, and it's a robust form. But I wanted to make it easy for somebody that just wants to submit, hey, general feedback that we can collect, and then also more detailed feedback. So that's what that process will look like going forward. As far as the maintenance request side, so when you get to that landing page and the top one is a maintenance request, right? You can click the maintenance request and that's going to bring you to another form that just says, hey, what's wrong? Where is it located? Provide some details on it. Once you click that, you can also provide your email address. You'll click submit. That actually pings Mike's phone. He'll be able to look at that and say, we've already got that on our schedule, or that's brand new to me. He may reach out to you with questions, but you'll actually be able to track that maintenance request. So it'll tell you like, hey, this has been accepted as it was a request, now it's a maintenance order, it's been accepted and scheduled. And you'll be able to track that and see what it's done. So that is kind of the feedback and maintenance request landing page idea. Again, this is going live March 4th. Yeah. So super excited about it. One, just to get a benchmark of where we are, but also be able to see where we're improving and where we need to improve. So, and those are all the updates, the specific updates that I had. So we will open it up to any questions. Not all at once. We will be going back to live Meet the Manager meetings, like in-person Meet the Manager meetings in March as well. So Facebook Live is great, but I really enjoy talking to people face to face. So excited to see that. Lori, are you keeping the tent area? Yeah, absolutely. So there are no plans currently to remove the tent area.
We have 44 people on here. Surely there's a question.
If not, no big deal.
Yeah.
And as always, if you have a question and you're like, I don't want to put it in the comments, but I do have this question, email me, gm@tlresort.com. If you're in the area, stop by. So Samuel says tent area could be used for more storage. Yeah, I mean, we've got lots of opportunity to expand storage for sure. I do know that, and this is something I haven't dug into very deeply yet, but there was some concern. I've been told there was some concerns with Branson, the city of Branson, if we add more storage, there are certain things we have to do. That's something we're going to be looking at, that long-term planning, to see if that is a goal of ours and something we want to pursue. What is it going to take? What does it look like? And we'll be sharing that information with you. But
Lori would like to know, will they maintain it better as far as weeding? So she's talking about the tent sites.
The tent sites, yeah, absolutely.
They need some maintenance.
Yeah, it's definitely on the list of things that have been, neglected in the heat of things for sure. I want that to be a usable area. We don't have a huge mass amount of tent campers, but we do have owners that like to tent camp, and we need to take care of that area and make sure it's accessible for them as well. So. Lori, are you a tent camper? Yeah, so Lori said some of us love to tent camp. Yeah.
Have any of you guys ever stayed in like a glamping tent camping area before? I've been following some of the pages online and seeing some of them. They're really neat.
And while you guys answer that, Austin asks, is there a job board ready to view for members? And Austin, I think you're talking about the job board that we discussed where here are the things that we're contracting out, and owners can take a look at that, and if they want to apply for that contract. Is that what you're talking about, Austin? Well, if that's what you're talking about, I don't see a reply. Okay, yeah, he says yes, correct, yeah. I mean, currently, right now, there's nothing that's being contracted out. I'm really looking forward to, again, that long-term planning committee. Once we set some goals and start looking at those things, we would be able to post that well in advance of when we're actually going to be doing the work.
Yeah.
So it is definitely on my list, Austin, of things that I want to see. We don't have a list of things that are currently being outsourced when it comes to like a specific building project. Now we do have, like we have pest control through Orkin. Like we do have several contracts with companies for regular or routine things, but as far as project based, we don't have anything. So one of the things that I've worked on is, and by next month we're going to have a contract matrix available for our board to see who exactly we're doing business with, and then how much the contract is. And if you look at I'm not sure if it's in the bylaws. There's a stipulation that says the general manager can engage in a contract that is not more than 1 year, and if it is more than 1 year, it can easily be you can easily remove yourself from that contract. So that really should be the stipulation.
Yeah.
It wasn't here in the past. Don't know how that was handled before, but we want to stick to that rule. So if there's a contract, we have it in the budget. We're good. It's a year. The general manager has the authority to go ahead and move forward on that. If it's going to be 3 years, 4 years, or even 2 years without an easy escape clause, that's something I have to bring to the board, and the board, as representatives of the owners, make a decision on that contract. So.
Kelly would like to know, can activities, webpage, and calendar be updated often, as we check to see often in case we want to come quickly? So yes, that's something that I want to do a much better job of this year, is making sure we have everything on the calendar as far in advance as possible. And yeah, it's a lot of work to keep up with all of it, but we want to make sure everybody is aware of all the activities that are happening. And so yes, absolutely.
Lori, to answer your question, with an A membership this year, I'm allowed to put my tent on an RV site so that I have electric and pay the RV site price. You've been able to do that in years past. Are we still able to do that? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Sarah would like to know, when will winter storage end and all phases be open?
So March
1st.
Yep, March 1st. It's coming up. Sheila, I did give a brief update. So we've had about 40 applicants for the, it's called Food and Beverage Manager, because they're overseeing both R&R, breakfast, and the snack shack this coming year. So we've changed that title a little bit. But we're starting the interview process for that. So we've got about 40 applicants. So if you know of somebody, shoot them our direction for sure. It's live on Indeed. So Austin, you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the sites in the Cedars Phase 2 getting concrete campsites? If so, when will members be able to look at the contract overview? So what's being done in the Cedars is being done by our staff, so that's not being contracted out.
And they've already started on those sites, correct?
Yeah.
They're not fully done.
Yeah, they're not completed yet. Next drive around, we'll go back to those for sure. On workers that live there, what is the hour requirement? So it depends on what you're talking about. So we've got both employees and we've got work campers. Work campers that are working for a site as their compensation, it's 24 hours. That's weekly, Lori. Weekly, 24 hours weekly. And that was in reference to the work campers. working off their site.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that can also be split up with households, so if you have multiple people that are staying on one campsite, then you can split that up between 2 people.
Sarah, the pool will be open by our March bash.
Yep.
It is not currently open, so we did do some routine maintenance on it. We drained the pool and repainted it. So. Has there been any update on second mower for the season? Kevin, can you expand on that a little bit? You mean like purchasing a second mower?
Probably purchasing a mower.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is not something I've looked at, and is not something that's in the budget currently. Cookie, yeah, we've chatted about it, but I'll reiterate it again. So we are hiring a food and beverage manager. They're going to be over both the breakfast, the rock and roll, and the snack shack. That position's been posted for a little while. We've got a little over 40 applicants, and we're going to be starting the interview process here soon. And I kind of went over that interview process. We're going to be doing a phone call with a large portion of the people that applied. We will then narrow those down to between 10 and between 5 and 10 applicants that are well qualified. Then I'll get involved with an interview. We'll narrow that down, and then from there the board will be involved in interviews as well before we make our final selection to get their feedback as representatives of the owners. So, all right, Kevin, we'll catch up next week. Will there be any changes with breakfast only on weekends? So I'll tell you what I'd like to see, but this is not in stone yet. So don't hold me to this one. But I would like to see breakfast expanded to more than just the weekends.
Me too.
So
yeah.
We are currently we've had to take a long look at kind of our food and beverage plan for the year. We want to open up the snack shack. We have been in communication with Taney County Health Department to ensure that we're in compliance, and there are some areas that we need to fix. Luckily, they're very small things. We've got a couple wood surfaces in the kitchens that that are not sealed and should be sealed. They're like major critical findings or anything like that, but things that we need to get fixed up. So with that, we've been looking at the plan, the big plan, the plan in general. What is it going to look like? How's it going to be staffed? I would like to see that breakfast expanded, just because I've heard from a lot of owners, they really enjoy that breakfast. So. Yeah, Cookie, it will be a big job covering all three, and we're looking at work campers that can step up and kind of be in a lead role in those areas, and also get their food safe manager's qualification as well. Yeah. So that person's role is really to be bouncing between those three sites. Obviously, not as much at the snack shack. At the snack shack, we're looking at doing things that can't go bad. So bagged chips, canned soda or bottled soda, candy bars, things like that. So the breakfast is going to be work campers. Yep. Yep. And people are always welcome to volunteer, but sure. we've got a certain number of work camper positions, just like we've got a certain number of paid positions. And I really want to try to stick to that, because there is a cost for us hosting work campers. There is a daily cost. It's certainly not as much as hiring somebody part-time or hiring a full-time person, but obviously if we just say, hey, there's no cap on this, that could be a problem. So we do have a certain limited number of work camper positions, and then you're always welcome to volunteer your time. Leroy Brewer, if something is not posted this coming week, we will be 4 months behind on financial reports. When will we expect to see the new report, the new in-house financial report for January? So great question. I spoke about this last week as well. I've got the draft December financials right here. Our finance committee have reviewed them. We found several issues with them that would affect our balance sheet moving into the new year. We've sent all that information to Abacus. Abacus has sent an email back requesting some clarifications on our questions. And I say all that to say we're working with them as quickly as possible to get November and December finalized so that we're able to move forward with January. Because I can't do a full fund. You guys might be able. There's a vacuum cleaner going on. So yeah, we can't post January financials because the January financials have a balance sheet, and the balance sheet is affected by November and December of the previous year. So we have to do them in order. I'm hoping to get an answer really quickly from Abacus so that we can move forward. As it sits now, the new financial system is working. We've moved everything in house. And we're working on what exactly that report's going to look like, what reports are going to be included. And I'm super excited for you guys to see it because we're looking at, you're going to be able to see your balance sheet, your statement of cash flow, and some of this may be like Greek to some people, and they're like, I don't care. My goal is to be able to provide a really top level view of kind of where we're at, both for the month compared to last year, the same time frame, year to date, the last year's same time frame, and then also by team. So big picture down to the granular detail. So super excited about it. Trying to get it out as quickly as possible, or kind of like there's nothing I can do at this point to speed up the process. Maintenance, cleaning is on top of it.
Our housekeeping was cleaning and they did a fantastic job.
Oh, okay.
But they did not know that we were doing it with you.
Samuel Williams, how the pond. So where we're currently at with the pond is I've been told we have to give it some time to get some vegetation, some growth in it. We've got to kind of build a new biosphere. And then we look at next steps. Do we want to stock bigger fish, smaller fish? So as of right now, we're just kind of letting it fill up and letting nature take its course out there. I do have some plans to meet with some people that have reached out and said, hey, I know ponds, and I want to help you guys come up with that plan and what that looks like. So looking forward to meeting with them and seeing that be brought back up to. I've never seen it without the cattails in it, so I'm excited to see it full and like with fish and vibrant and all that stuff. But it's certainly going to take some time because we scraped that entire pond, so it's just a mud hole right now. That's filling up with water, but over time it's going to start growing what's needed to sustain the fish that we're going to be putting in there.
Lori would like to know about our work campers. Are they paid by site only, or are they paid in addition to their site?
Yeah, so there are 3 types of work campers currently. We've got our general work camper, which they work 24 hours and it just pays for their site. And then we've got 24/8s. So 24/8s, they work 24 hours, pay off their site, and they're paid 8 hours at minimum wage. And we got 24/16. So kind of the equivalent of that full-time person, but 24 hours is for their site, and they're paid 16 hours at minimum wage. We are moving away from, the paid work camper model. Currently, the only paid positions that are work camper positions that we have are in security. So all the other positions across the park are work campers that work 24 hours. Leroy Brewer, that is absolutely my goal, is to make sure that once we get November and December done, we'll be able to turn and burn quickly on January and then be up to speed and get those financials out quickly. I can't make decisions looking at financials 4 months ago,
Yeah. That is correct. Did you answer when the rock and roll will be open?
No, I did
Okay.
not.
Will the rock and roll be open the 1st of March?
Yeah, so we do not have a date on opening yet for the rock and roll. Any other questions? Leroy, have you any updates on the water leak that was identified? So no major updates based on what we talked about last week or week before last. Obviously, we've identified a few leaks. We've gotten those fixed. We're still working with the Rural Water Association to identify any other leaks that we have. It's going to be a process. We just have to continue identifying the leaks, digging them up, fixing them, move on to the next. The major leak that was found that I went by and showed everybody 2 weeks ago along the road, not the one at the bathhouse, has been fixed. So, Bill McCorkle, we have not hired a food services manager yet, a food and beverage manager. It is posted. We've got about 40 applicants, and we're going to be starting those interviews here real soon. What does entertainment look like? As far as bands and things, Jim and Cindy, is that what you're talking about? I'm going to assume that's what you're talking about. So as with years past, we're booking bands, especially during the busy season, to ensure that there's entertainment available, live entertainment. We've got a great band booked for our spring break bash, so we're super excited about that.
And I'm also open, if you guys have recommendations on people that you would like to play here at the park. We're open to a variety of music, so we're hoping to have more variety this year. I'd love to book some 70s, 80s bands, some fun stuff. So if you have any, shoot me an email, amy@tlresort.com, and we'll try to get some of your favorite bands booked.
Bill McCorkle asked, how do you feel about the infrastructure of the park? We all know it's aging. Absolutely. That's, again, one of the reasons why we're looking at this long-term planning committee. And where we're at with that, I know it kind of got put on the back burner when we started budget build and started looking at, and we had to move fast on some things that just had to get done. And then again, our financial system, making sure that it was ready to take off in January. But our long-term planning committee, so where we're at right now with that is, I've sent an email out to everybody that was interested in joining that committee. So if you've expressed interest and you didn't get an email, reach out to me, because you should have already gotten that. And then from there, they have a link that they click and they say, hey, this is my availability, because it's a pretty large group of people. So by Tuesday, I've asked that everybody submit their availability so we can set that first meeting date. And we'll probably have that meeting date sometime in March. We'll meet and we'll start talking about things like infrastructure. It's absolutely aging. What is the highest priority? And then start looking at what it's going to cost to get it where it needs to be. So, yeah, Bill, I think you're on the list, right? Did you get the email?
Yep, he's on the list.
Yeah, good. And we're providing options for people to meet in person and also virtually for those meetings. We don't want try to break down as many barriers as possible for people that want to serve on that committee. So,
Kelly, that band will be on March 22nd. It's a Saturday at 7 p.m. and it'll be in the clubhouse. We'd like to have more bands out in the pavilion area too. So if you guys are, looking forward to some outdoor concerts, we want to do that as well.
Got it, Bill. We'll look for a weekend date so you have an excuse to come down.
Yeah.
We've got time for more questions if anybody has any. So Cookie Edith said, before you came on board, owners were told that the lift stations in each phase for sewer all had to be replaced. I think it was $100,000 a piece. What happened to that emergency? I'm not sure. I know that we've had the red light on those lift stations go off a couple of times. Again, that's part of looking at the infrastructure and putting together a plan.
And there were repairs that were done to the ones that needed it.
Yeah, before I got here. Yeah, I know that some were repaired. In my mind, we should, and this is like where you want to be, and I kind of the goal that I want to get to eventually. We should have a 10-year plan that says, by year 5 we're going to have this many AC units that are probably going to need to be replaced. What's the cost of that? We're going to have this other infrastructure that needs to be looked at. These road repairs that have to be done. Lift stations that need to be serviced or repaired. If we have the ability to eventually get to a place where we can look long range, we've been so focused on what is at our feet, which is where we had to be at the time, right? I think the whole point of the long-term planning committee, and I think the board shares this view, we want to stop looking at our feet and start looking down the road. What's coming up? And then, from there start planning. So when we're looking at a budget, are we not just looking at the net of this year, but how much of that can be put in, a maintenance reserve that is going to help us ensure that work can be done when it's slated to be done, and have a little cushion for an emergency as well. So that's the goal, and it's not a quick and easy process. This is a massive facility with a lot of moving parts and pieces. The first step in that was a program that allowed us to track what needs to be done, right, for the emerging things and preventative maintenance. We've got that in place now. So we've kind of stopped the bleeding, and now we're looking at what surgery needs to be done down the road. So will the breakfast still be in the lodge, or will it be at the Rock and Roll Cafe? At this point in time, we're planning on it being in the lodge. Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I think I remember you showing where a new flow meter was being installed in phase 2. If I'm correct and it was installed, does this meter still show a leak in phase 2 since phase 2 is closed? Any flow would be a leak, correct? So yeah, it is not showing any flow, but that line doesn't service all of phase 2. So we're learning a lot about our water lines, and just so everybody's aware, we looked and looked and looked. I mean, and talked to a bunch of people about, hey, is there anything on paper that says where our water lines are? And we don't have anything. We even found some architectural drawings, and we thought maybe they might have copies of the plumbing, because there's one that was sewer, and they went out of business. So we've tried our best to get that information on the front end. It's not available. So we're really working through a process of mapping our water lines. And we've already found some areas that, well, we thought this line actually went over here, but in reality it doesn't. It goes over this direction. So not only are we fixing leaks, but we're also learning a lot about our water infrastructure as well.
Can you scroll up a little bit? There's a comment that I can't read.
So it says, how successful has the buy-in plan been? And they're talking about the $1,000 certificates, the vouchers. Sorry. Yeah, so they're just talking about the vouchers. How successful has it been? Do you know how many people who have purchased?
Yeah, I think we're sitting around 12. Honestly, I don't expect there to be a huge wave right now because it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
We have been getting a lot of calls about it, and I expect once it warms up, we'll see a lot of those vouchers come in. So.
Cookie says, Stephen, thank you for that because many of us wanted to see that for long-term planning. You and the board are doing a good job. So many things need maintenance.
Yeah. I don't know where we left off on the comments,
So I think that's pretty much it. Deb was asking about the cafe manager. She didn't hear the answer to the question, wanted to know if we hired somebody.
And then did somebody respond?
Yes, somebody responded.
Okay.
Yep. So
we've got about 40 applications.
Yep.
We're starting those preliminary interviews. So.
Yep, we're in the process. Very excited about that.
Austin asks, is Treasure Lake still planning on upgrading each site to 50 amp? I mean, I think that would be an amazing goal for us to have. And again, part of that long-term planning, we can do that a little at a time and make sure that that's getting done. So, if I remember a conversation correctly, there is no map of any utilities. So we have found some drawings of where utilities were planned to be, Bill, but nothing for water. So. All right. You're welcome, Bill. You're welcome, Debbie. All right, I'll give it another few seconds to see if any more questions pop up, but if not, we will. Howard says, thanks for your meetings. They're appreciated. I enjoy having them. I do enjoy having them in person, in person more, but. These are kind of neat because you get to interact with people that maybe haven't been able to attend in person. And typically when we do the in-person, we're not answering questions that are coming in from online. We're just answering questions from the audience. So it's kind of neat to get questions from people that aren't here as well. All right.
Very nice.
Getting a lot of thanks for hosting the meetings. See you in March. Kevin will see you in March. Pete, you're welcome for the updates. So, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and end the live. If you have a question that you didn't want to answer, or ask in the comments, you can always email me. If you're here, feel free to stop by. I'm happy to chat with any owner. Door's always open. So, appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful and safe day.
See you later.